Hi, I'm Mark Manor. This is Homer's Music, and every week we talk about new releases coming out on vinyl. And if you like these videos, subscribe, and they'll keep popping up, and you can keep watching them, I guess. All right, so this week is we're winding down. It's kind of the end of the year, so there's not a lot of stuff coming out, but there's still stuff coming out. And this week's almost going to be more known for what didn't come out rather than what does come out. So. Big release today was supposed to be the Sturgill Simpson record that he put out earlier this year. That's been delayed till February. So lots of people wanted it. We had lots of pre-orders for it. There's issues with pressing plants and things like that, which I'm sure you've heard about. The other one was comedian Bo Burnham had an album coming out that everybody wants. That's been delayed just a couple weeks to December 17th. So that'll be out. If you promise that to somebody for Christmas, you still have a shot at it. So there are indie exclusives on both those records if you have an independent record store in your town. Here are some things that did come out. So this is Natalie Hembe. This album actually came out earlier this year. She is one of the four high women. And you have Brandi Carlile, Maren Morris, and oh my God, Amanda Shires. And so Natalie is kind of like, I don't want to say the unknown one, but to the masses, she was kind of like the one that nobody really knew who she was. She only had one solo album out that came out in 2017. She's more of a songwriter, so she's been writing huge songs for like the last 15 years. She wrote a lot of songs for Miranda Lambert, Lady Gaga, Leanne Womack, Little Big Town, Kelly Clarkson, stuff like that. So she's huge in the music industry, but just not, wasn't known as a performer. So this is kind of this is her second album. It came out 4 years after her first, kind of more of a post-success with the High Woman album. It's a good record. Check it out. This, you probably can't see it, is They Might Be Giants. The album's called Book because they put out a book, but they also put out an album along with it. I'm a huge They Might Be Giants fan. I've seen them probably a dozen times live, I know, yeah. And there's the They Might Be Giants fans that love the early stuff like Flood and even up to Apollo 18 in the 90s. And then, there's those of us that kind of stuck with the band. I didn't have any kids, but a lot of their fans had kids. They put out kids records that are widely known. The Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song is done by They Might Be Giants. I have a nephew, so we all watched that quite a bit. Anyway, but they keep putting out records, a lot actually. They put out a lot of material. They had their Dial-A song. They had, lots of songs that come out of the internet. So they put out tons of material. So, some is better than others. Some albums are better than others. This one, though, I have a friend that's really into them that kind of disagrees. He likes this record, but doesn't think it's as good as the last couple. I think it's the best one that they've put out in 10 years. So, there's songs on here that are kind of catchy. And if you were like one of the early They Might Be Giants fans, I think there's a song called I Broke My Own Rules, which could have been off of Flood, in my opinion. Down with the Clown. There's a lot of great songs on here. So if you haven't checked out They Might Be Giants in a while, this might be a nice little jumping in point. It's kind of a weird thing. Jeff Rosenstock, artist, he's been around for a long time. He used to be in ska bands and punk bands, and then, he kind of went the singer-songwriter route as he got older. So he put out this album called No Dream back last year, and then he tweeted out in April of this year, and I remember the exact moment that tweet came out because I follow him, and it's like, Ska Dream, and so everybody's like, all right, you're just joking, are you gonna make a ska version of No Dream? Well, he did. And so that came out in April of this year. People got bored. So it's actually a lot of fun. Is it a great ska record? I don't know, but if you're a Jeff Rosenstock fan, you've been wanting this on wax, and it's a lot of fun. All right, so kind of reissues. This is a band called Therapy. They still are, but in the 90s, they were a pretty popular band that came out around the same time as a lot of the Britpop bands. So they're from Ireland, but they have a much heavier sound. So, we worked around, I was working here still, and we had a bunch of people my age, were in our, early 20s, and we're all like Britpop fans. Well, a couple of the guys were into Therapy, and they're more of a heavier band, kind of like the Jesus Lizard. Metallica was a big fan of these guys. They never really broke in America, but they did well in Europe. They headlined like Donington Festival and stuff like that. This is their third record. It's the one I like the most, and they became a little bit more popular after the last two, but I was kind of excited to see this out on vinyl in America. So if you like Jesus Lizard, if you like I don't know, Fugazi or Big Black or things like that, and you've never listened to Therapy, maybe check them out. Bush has Razor Blade Suitcase. This is their second record. Gonna kind of point this out. So this is the 10 Bands with a Cause. So it has a pink ribbon on it. So the proceeds on this are gonna go towards charity. Anyway, Bush, Razor Blade Suitcase, check it out. All right, a few box sets, and they're very different box sets. But Travis, this is the Invisible Band. I was a big Anglophile Britpop guy. They came around in the late 90s, and I like the first two records, and the second record had a lot of hits off it. This was the one that kind of followed up, where they became huge stars, at least over in Britain and in America, to an extent as well. So this is the 20th anniversary box set of that. It's 2 LPs, 2 CDs, lots of B-sides, live stuff. If you're a Travis fan, this is a must-have. All right, we're getting some my teenage years, little metal stuff. So thrash band Overkill. This is the Atlantic Years 6-record box set. It's really got all the, I think what is the best, Overkill. I don't think there's any doubt that this is the prime era of Overkill. Anyway, it's nothing new on there, no B-sides or anything, but it's all 180 gram vinyl, half-speed mastering, so they put some effort into the actual wax itself. So great for Christmas. Grandma will love it. So, and last but not least, also the Atlantic Years, Skid Row. So this is gonna have, the self-titled record with 18 in Life and Youth Gone Wild. It's got Slave to the Grind, which was their kind of heavier follow-up record that a lot of people love. It's also got the B-sides record on it, which had the cover. It's all cover songs. They do the Ramones, Rush, Jimi Hendrix, things like that. And then it has their 1995 album, Subhuman Race, which, didn't do as well because the grunge thing came around and kind of killed off all the hair metal bands. But people really like that Subhuman Race record too, and that's pretty hard to get on vinyl. So that's kind of maybe the selling point of this. It's kind of interesting because when this record, that Subhuman Race record came out, they had taken a couple years break because Doc McGee had told them to take a break because to wait out the grunge thing. So Doc McGee was a manager to all the great hair metal bands and stuff, and told him to take a break because the hair metal or the grunge thing's gonna burn out, and then you guys can come back, and well, that obviously didn't happen. So they actually invited Nirvana. I'm rambling now. They invited Nirvana to open up their tour when Nirvana was just getting started, and Kurt Cobain said no because he believed that Sebastian Bach was a homophobic person. So there's that. It also has a live EP on it, and so there you go. So if you have a Skid Row fan in your life, this is for you. That's all I got. We'll be back next week with some more records. Hopefully they don't get delayed.